Hello writers and welcome to my channel. I'm Stace and today let's have a little chat about being a morning writer. I'd like to share my tips for working towards becoming more of an early morning writer if that is something that you want, because a few writers I know have expressed that they'd like to try and become a bit more of an early bird when it comes to their writing schedules. So let's get started. Morning writing works best for me because I have always been an early bird since I was in primary school when I had to get up at around 7 a.m. and then one of my jobs at university meant that when I had the morning shift I had to get up at 4 a.m. to do the opening of the cafe and whatnot. Basically, even if an alarm wasn't set, I would always be awake before 7 a.m. pretty much. Now, not everyone is going to be suited for morning writing. It's not like there's some kind of checklist or in order to be a morning writer, there are no special requirements or anything. It's just that everyone has a different time of day when they feel the most creative and productive. Another note is that writing in the morning doesn't automatically mean that you will be more productive. It really might not suit you at all, but some people seem to think that in order to prove that you're productive, you have to do things very early in the day or get up at like 6 a.m. But that's really not the case. It's perfectly fine if you're more of a night owl, if that is when you feel the call to write, or if that's just when you have your time in a day. Finding a writing schedule has to be a process that suits you and the way that your brain works, but for those of you wanting an earlier schedule, here is how I suggest you make a start with it. My schedule is to get up at 5:45 every day and write from 6 until 8 a.m. 5 days a week from Monday to Friday. I've been doing this now since about mid-2018, so for almost 3 years, and I just really love it. I chose this time because A, it was the only time I had, which meant that I could consistently write, and B, my chance to do this came about when I changed my working hours from 9 a.m. till 5:30 in the afternoon to 10 a.m. till 6:30 in the evening. And it meant I didn't have to leave the house to commute until about 9:10 in the morning instead of like 7:45. So, I'd already been getting up at 7 o'clock anyway, so I knocked my alarm back by just over an hour and I started using the mornings as writing time. If you don't currently get up early, then changing your wake-up time is something that should be done gradually and consistently. Many people make the mistake of just one day setting their alarm like 3 hours earlier and then trying to get up and get something done. But this is not going to work. Our minds and bodies work on cycles, and if you want to change your cycle, you're going to need to give it, your body and your mind, time to adjust instead of just trying to shock it into the adjustment. You are going to need some measure of determination in order to make these changes, and it might take longer than you think, which may be disappointing, but here goes. So, say you currently wake up at 9 a.m, but you want to start getting up at 6:30. As well as setting a waking up time, it's also good to try and decide a rough bedtime too. For me, that's between 9:30 and 10:30 at night. So I get between 6 to 7 hours sleep a night on average. I would say to record your wake up time every day for a week before you start this so that you do get that average if it does differ from day to day. But if you already have an alarm set and know what time you get up already, then just move on to the next step. So, set your alarm for the next morning, probably best to start on a Monday. I always find things easier to start at the start of a new week. But set your alarm 30 minutes earlier than you currently get up and stick to that for a week. And by that, I mean the whole week, even on weekends. Come on, don't look at me like that. For a schedule to work, I did say that consistency was key. I get up at 5:45 every single day, that includes Saturday and Sunday, because I really don't see the point in disrupting that schedule on the weekends because it's just going to make it harder to get back up at that earlier time on a Monday when you have to snap back to the earlier wake up. As soon as your alarm goes off, force yourself out of bed, literally within 1 minute of the alarm going off, and make your way to whichever room in the house you usually use for writing and just start thinking about your project. It doesn't even have to be the writing that you think about, just tapping into thinking about the characters or the setting or the next step you need to take will help a lot. The aim of this is to teach your brain that as soon as you wake up, you need to start thinking about this project. You need to access the creative centers of your brain straight away. So if it also helps, get dressed in your actual day clothes if you think it's going to help you to wake up more. You won't need to do any writing yet, but this first week is just to get your brain used to working within 15 minutes of waking. Do this every day for a week, and then the next week roll your alarm back another half hour and repeat. And repeat this until you arrive at the time that you want to get up, and then you'll be ready to start trying to write in the morning once you've kept this waking time for a week. If at any time during these changes, the act of thinking about the project so early kind of spurs you to do a little bit of writing as well, then go for it. This is only going to help in teaching your brain that the morning time is writing time now. Now you might feel a little bit crappy while you're making these adjustments because you're not just changing your waking cycle, you're also changing your sleeping cycle and potentially part of your eating cycle, but that's completely up to you. When you're at the point where you can get up every morning at your new desired time and be reasonably awake within 15 to 30 minutes, you can start working on implementing actual writing in the mornings. My mornings tend to look a bit like this. I get up at 5:45 a.m. By 6 a.m. I'm downstairs on the sofa with my laptop, and between 6 and 8 a.m. I do something productive. I either work on my main project if that's my current focus, or if I'm on a drafting break, I'm usually working on my channel or other productive things. And then when I'm done, I have my breakfast at about 8:30 and then usually relax until work at 10. The important thing about morning writing, if you're not used to it, is not to expect to be able to get much done initially. It's a big adjustment for your mind and for your body, so I'd suggest to set yourself a period of time where you try and focus and just do what you can. I would say start with 1 hour. So if you wake up at 6:30, let's say that you begin to give yourself an hour from 7 until 8 in the morning to write and try and focus as much as you can. I wouldn't set any word count goals or any minimums or anything like that. Just do what you can and stick to this schedule for about 2 to 3 weeks. At the end of those 2 to 3 weeks, you should see a huge difference in your ability to wake up and the amount of work that you're able to get done, because your mind and body will have learned that this is now a new habit. So continue honing your focus until it becomes easy to consistently work for that hour, and then you can start thinking about maybe extending your focus window in 15 or 30-minute increments. I will say that hyper-focusing over a short amount of time in the morning is something that I've really come to appreciate, but it's pretty tiring to learn how to do. So don't increase your writing and focus window until that first hour just feels easy. Focus is a bit like a muscle, so you have to build up its stamina and stretch it gradually. There are going to be things for you to decide that are personal to you and what feels best for you. For instance, how long do you need to actually wake up? For me, it's 15 minutes, but for other people, it may be 30 minutes plus a cup of coffee. But either way, set a limit, because if you leave it open-ended, you might just end up feeling like going back to bed or not feeling ready to work. So I'd say a maximum of 30 minutes waking up time. If we all waited until we actually felt ready, then we would hardly get anything done. You'll also have to decide when you'll eat. For me, I don't eat until I'm done writing personally, but some people need food as soon as they get up. So again, figure out gradually what's best for you. And that's about it. So to recap, start by just winding your alarm back by 30 minutes a week and then haul yourself out of bed immediately and go directly to your writing space and start thinking about your project for at least 15 minutes and then just stay awake. When you've reached your desired wake-up time, you can consistently stick to it. Give yourself an hour to get done what you can with no hard set goals. You can set realistic goals when you know how much you're capable of doing in that hour. When it becomes easier for you to focus for that hour, you can think about extending that time if you have the time to do so. So what are the benefits of morning writing from my perspective? For me, writing gives me energy, and knowing that I've made progress with something before I've even started my workday is a huge boost, and it just feels really good. If by 8 o'clock I've written nearly 3,000 words, then there's no reason not to be happy about that. You'll see more consistent progress in your projects by using a schedule as well, if a schedule is something that suits you. So no matter what time of the day you write, this is also going to be something to feel good about. On the weekends, I don't tend to write, but sometimes I do sneak in some extra days, and it is amazing to get up so early, get some writing done, and then realize that you still have the entire day to relax and just do whatever you want. It also hones all kinds of skills, especially like hyperfocusing, and increases your hourly output a lot over time. I started off managing about 800 to 1200 words per morning. My writing session's 2 hours long, but now that's gone up to 2,500 to 3,000 words per 2-hour session of a morning now. So yeah, those are the main benefits of writing early, in my opinion, as someone who's been doing it for the past 3 years. My favourite is the one of having done something productive before I even really start the rest of my day, whether that's work or just a weekend. So it gives a nice spring to the step and means that you can relax in the evening without feeling bad for not having written anything. For me, it generally brings more of a work-life balance as well. So even though it does mean that I'm working 10 hours a day, 2 hours writing in the morning and then 8 hours at work, the days feel fulfilled, and it means that the evenings can be free for self-care, and guilt-free self-care at that. And those are my recommendations for how to work towards becoming more of a morning writer if it's something that you want to do. It's a big commitment, but if you can stick to the wake-up times and such, it should all fall into place. It might take a bit longer for some of you or shorter, but you may even eventually end up finding out that morning writing simply doesn't suit you, and that's okay. But all of these are fine, and at least you will have given it a go and learned something about yourself in the process. Whether that's just that you're not a morning writer or that you are a morning writer and can achieve a whole lot more in terms of progress than you currently are just by making the sacrifice of that lying in bed for an extra hour, it's going to feel good. There's a lot of unused time sitting there in the mornings for a lot of people, but also do make sure you're getting enough sleep too. If you burn out, then there really will have been very little point in this exercise. And that's it for this video. Let me know what time you tend to write in the comments, and whether you want to work towards becoming more of an early morning writer, or if you've achieved it already. I'd love to hear about your journeys and your processes. As always, I will see you guys on the next topic video in 2 weeks' time. Keep looking after yourselves, and I hope your projects are going well. Bye!